The administration felt that in order to get or to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, they did have to take some sort of military action. However, we keep hearing from administration officials this idea that this operation was very focused, very targeted, just looking at these nuclear capabilities and not signing up U.S. ground troops to go into Iran. But of course, the open question now is what happens next. Does Iran retaliate? Certainly Democrats latching onto that message that they do not want the U.S. entangled in any foreign war, and even a few Republicans, although not many publicly. One specifically, though, that we have seen get some pushback from the President of the United States is Thomas Massie, the congressman from Kentucky, who's been very vocal when it comes to opposing any U.S. military intervention abroad. President Trump, though, just in the last few hours, posting on social media, slamming Massie, saying he's not really part of MAGA, calling him a grandstander, and even promising to campaign against him in a Republican primary. However, just a short time ago, Massie responding again on social media to the president's comments, saying that he went on television and gave an interview today to make the case that he does not want the U.S. involved in any war, Hallie.
Gabe Gutierrez, live for us there outside the White House. Gabe, thank you. Teeing us up nicely for Julie Sirkin, our correspondent, who is on Capitol Hill. And Julie, we just talked about, of course, Congressman Massie, President Trump, this conflict that has erupted now into public view between the two of them, that the congressman is now fundraising off of.
And this is nothing new. I think Massie at this point expects the ire of the president because he has also crossed him on other issues, including that so-called One Big Beautiful Bill that, by the way, Congress is very busy addressing right now as we speak. So it's interesting and notable that he is now fundraising off of this, though not the first time that Massie has done so off of one of the president's Truth Social posts. But I think what Gabe's saying and what you've laid out here is exactly right. There are divisions emerging. There are cracks emerging on Capitol Hill. We also saw a very lengthy post from Congresswoman Marjorie Greene, who also opposes foreign wars. She calls this the battle of the neocons. And of course, what the neocons would say is that they are not the ones who are at fault here. It is the isolationists. It's Greene. It's this kind of thinking that we don't need to be involved in these situations. On the flip side, though, you have Republicans like Senator Lindsey Graham, who was on with Kristen Welker this morning, defending the administration and defending, more notably, because of the conversation we're having now, the administration's right to do this without notifying all 535 members of Congress, as Graham had put it. They, of course, have intelligence that even the most senior senators have yet to see. I heard from some rank-and-file Republicans last week who were already concerned about the initial Israeli strikes against Iran, concerned that the U.S. would escalate. But so far, Hallie, they are standing behind the president, and that is crucial because Republicans do control the House and the Senate up here. Despite that, you are hearing a lot of noise from Democrats. You had Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez calling for the president to be impeached. It is not clear that he has violated anything right now. It is not unconstitutional at this point, but you're going to have briefings this week so that the administration can explain itself to Congress.
Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez got some attention for that social media post in which she talked about the prospect of impeachment. Of course, a president who has been previously twice impeached, not convicted or removed from office. There seems to be little appetite among Democrats, at least at this point, to get on board with that call from the Congresswoman. Fair to say?
That is extremely fair to say, especially because Democratic leaders have been pretty careful and tepid in their responses, very differently from even lower-ranking Democratic officials who are, of course, frustrated by this. You have dueling resolutions in the House and Senate, of course, one from Massie and Democrat Ro Khanna, but also one in the Senate from Senator Tim Kaine. So far, though, you can maybe expect Rand Paul to sign on to that from the Republican side. Probably not going to go much beyond him, but we're still, of course, in the early days of this. That war powers resolution in the Senate could get a vote as soon as Friday of this coming week, Hallie, and it only requires a simple majority to pass. But again, these are nothing more than messaging tactics, slaps on the wrist, perhaps, as Congress and the executive branch is engaged in this perpetual debate over who has the power to not only declare war, but go on the offense, with military strikes, potentially put boots on the ground. At this point, the administration saying that is not in the cards. But again, we are in the very early stages of this. The administration is going to need approval if they wish to go beyond that, if they wish to put troops on the ground in the region. So far, no indication that is happening, but Congress does have a lot of questions they need answered still.
Julie Sirkin, live for us on Capitol Hill. Jules, thank you.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.